There are 7 life-saving steps to lockout-tagout. Remember, this is about properly de-energizing and eliminating all sources of potential hazardous energy during servicing and maintenance operations. Post these, memorize them, and don't miss a step. Step 1. Prepare for shutdown. Before an authorized or affected employee turns off a machine, they must have knowledge of the type and magnitude of the energy, the hazards, and the method or means to control the energy. Step 2. Shut down the machines or equipment. This might be as easy as a stop button, but however shutdown is performed, it has to be orderly. Step 3. Disconnect the energy isolating devices. These control the energy to the machine or equipment and must be physically located and placed in the off position to de-energize it. Control circuitry does not provide a physical barrier that controls hazardous energy. For example, push buttons, selector switches, and interlocking gates are not energy isolation devices and are not permissible substitutes for energy isolation devices under the standard. Step 4. Once the equipment or machine's energy isolating mechanism has been disconnected, apply the lockout or tagout devices. Step 5. Render all stored and residual energy safe. Once the lockout or tagout devices have been applied, all potentially hazardous stored or residual energy must be relieved, disconnected, restrained, and rendered safe before the servicing or maintenance can be conducted. Plus, if stored energy can reaccumulate when equipment is being worked on, the employer must continue to verify the isolation of the machine to prevent a hazardous incident. The presence of hydraulic or pneumatic systems may mean you need to use bleed valves to relieve pressure. Step 6. Verify the isolation and de-energization of the machine or equipment prior to starting work. This step may involve a deliberate attempt to start up the equipment, which should be impossible because the machine is isolated from its energy sources. Verification can also be accomplished using monitoring instruments, such as a voltmeter, to test electrical circuits to determine that there is no electrical energy available to the machine. Similar test equipment can be used to check for the presence of other energy types and sources. Finally, Step 7 is reactivation. Once the servicing or maintenance operations have been completed, your job isn't over. Specific procedures must be used before the energy isolating devices may be removed and the machine or equipment re-energized. These include replacement of safeguards, machine or equipment inspection, and removal of all non-essential tools and equipment. This procedure is designed to ensure that employees are not exposed to hazards from normal production if a guard is not replaced or a tool is left in a hazardous location. A visual inspection is acceptable for smaller and less complex equipment. For large, more complex machines, you may need checklists or other procedures. Make sure all of your employees are safely positioned during reactivation. You don't want anyone exposed to unexpected energization, startup, or release of hazardous energy when the locks or tags are removed. This can also be accomplished by a visual inspection. But for larger, more complex operations, it may be necessary to use warning devices such as horns, bells, or buzzers. Next, removing the lockout or tagout devices shall be performed by the authorized employee who placed the lock on the energy isolating device. Finally, notification of affected employees that servicing and maintenance is completed and it's now safe to operate the equipment. These are the 7 crucial steps of lockout-tagout.